This webcast talks about Worksheet 1A, where we are discussing Method 1, using prefixes to describe large and small quantities. And you may notice that there is a prefix number line here at the top of this worksheet. It's showing you the prefixes in order from the smallest ones on the left to the largest ones on the right. It's another way of looking at these prefixes because we do need to start to get a good intuition and understanding of what they all mean. Let's look at some of these exercises. So the first questions are just asking us to practice writing what the prefixes mean so that we start to think about them in terms of their true meanings. So each prefix is telling us to multiply by some power of 10. So, for example, let's look at number 2 here. What does the prefix micro mean? Well, micro means multiply by 10 to the negative 6. That's the power of 10 that we multiply by when you see something with the prefix micro. So 1 micrometer is 0.00001 meters. It's 1/1,000,000th of a meter. Another way of looking at that, if you want to take the reciprocal of that, is to say that it takes 10 to the 6th micrometers to equal 1 meter. So a micrometer is very small. It's 1/1,000,000th, just the smallest fraction of a meter. So it takes a lot of micrometers to equal 1 meter. Let's also do number 4 together. It asks about tera. What does the prefix tera mean? Well, tera is the prefix that's the furthest on the right. It's the largest prefix that we're learning, and so it means to multiply by 10 to the 12th. So 1 terameter equals 10 to the 12th meters, which is a 1 followed by 12 zeros. Okay, and then on page 2 of this worksheet, there is a fabulous table, which you really should spend some time studying and learning, but it gives you detailed information. For each prefix, you have the symbol for that prefix, what that prefix means in terms of what factor does that prefix tell you to multiply by. And then it also gives you the conversion factor to go from 1 unit with that prefix in front of it to the base unit. Okay, but let's look at some of these exercises here. So if we have 8 million meters, that's 8 followed by 6 zeros, that means that we have 8 times 10 to the 6th meters. And there's a prefix that means multiply by 10 to the 6th. And that prefix is mega. So 8 million meters we could express using a prefix as 8 megameters. Notice how I'm being very careful to make my mega an uppercase M and the symbol for meter a lowercase m. That's because there are distinct meanings for a prefix that's the uppercase M and the prefix that's the lowercase m. And in this case, I need mega, which is uppercase M. Let's look at number 6. 7,300 meters equals 7.3 times 10 to the 3rd meters. And so I could express this using a prefix if I replace the times 10 to the 3rd with the prefix that means times 10 to the 3rd, and that's kilo. So 7,300 meters is the same thing as 7.3 kilometers. The next one has 0.0028 meters. And so that equals 2.8 times what? Well, to find out, I have to move my decimal point 3 places to the right. So that's 2.8 times 10 to the negative 3 meters. And there's a prefix that means times 10 to the negative 3. That's milli. So this must be 2.8 millimeters. Now, notice that I'm using the lowercase m as the prefix because lowercase m means milli, which means multiply by 10 to the negative 3. And let's look at the final one here. I've got 0.00044 meters. And I want to figure out what is the leading number that would be times 10 to the negative 6. Well, 10 to the negative 6 means that I have to move the decimal place 6 places to the right. And so that would be 44 times 10 to the negative 6 meters. And if I want to express that using a prefix, then I use the prefix that means times 10 to the negative 6, and that's micro. So I would have 44 micrometers.